But I guess it's an interesting experience. Now, talking about the cover of this album, this great cello woman, who came with the idea? Who did that picture? It's an amazing piece of art.
The guy who did artwork for many of the albums, for Reflections, for Apocalyptica.
So you still keeping...
in the last album he was not involved, and this time we wanted to really focus on the artwork again and make it to look like we feel the album sounds like, and what we feel Apocalyptica is. And we will continue the idea of the cello creature animal, what we had on the last album, and then the cello woman thing, what we had on Reflections. And
the same story actually continues on our videos. We have the same thing going throughout every field. The guy's Dirk Rudolph, who's been doing artwork for Rammstein as well, and he's really great.
We wanted to create like a mood which is like a dark, dramatic, but still it has like aesthetics of beauty.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's like a really theatrical picture. And I mean, some of the rockers from the 60s, from the 70s, when they start talking about his guitar, they talk about like they're girls, right?
Yeah.
It's the same with you with the cellos? It's like, do you have a name of a girl?
They wouldn't treat the girls so bad. They treated the
So no any relationship between that.
It would be an ugly, hairy girl if it's one of their cellos.
Of course, you sometimes think it's fun, especially live, to try to have a feeling. Finger, string. It's fun.
You know, when you, for example, when we used to play classical music more, it was all about playing. We played like hours and hours every day. Nowadays, when we are doing Apocalyptica, playing is maybe a couple of % of all time we spend on doing work. You know, it's all about traveling. You know, other stuff. And for live usage, we have different cellos than the real classical instruments. So we spend more time with those not so loved ones. they stay home, So
now, talking about Finnish music, music from Finland, 5 years ago here in Mexico, it was like a big boom, like probably 8 bands, really big from Finland. Right now, you still with the same kind of crowd follow you probably more, and probably Tarja Turunen also. But there's so other bands that really are not that big that used to be 5 years ago here in Mexico. Why do you think that happened?
Like who bands?
Like To Die For, like the Rasmus, like Nightwish with the new singer, like him is still really big, but not that much probably like 5 years ago. It's happened the same in Finland, or it's just here in Mexico?
I think it happened a bit everywhere. There's new bands coming. Maybe those bands you mentioned, maybe they just had the hangover of the super successful singles and albums. It's hard to say. It's impossible to say why, fans are not following something. But most likely, it comes to the music and how the new albums are, that people don't find them as great or as cool or not the same way or not new or fresh or whatever. You never know. But I think they were suffering a bit about the
But everything goes in like waves, so for sure they're coming back. And I think like Children of Bottom, they are doing better all the time. And new bands coming in, so.
There's a lot of new action going on, and it's hard to say which bands are going to be the next ones. But in Finland, the musical scene is very active, and bands are very motivated to work a lot and to prepare their skills to be really on the right level, to be international and get abroad. I think the Rasmus, they're working on a new album, for example, now, and they just closed the doors and just the band, 4 guys going to write songs, and I'm sure they will come up with something great.
Hopefully they're really nice people.
Yeah.
And talking to the last question, I mean, I know that Mexico has been really important in your career. You have a lot of success here in Mexico, and you have played here so many times. But which one of all the concerts do you say, whoa, this one is still in my memory, really big, of the Mexican shows?
I would say that first time when we played in a National Auditorium.
Oh, in Auditorium.
That was really something.
That was great. Also because many of the venues, they are seated, what we play nowadays. here, and then the stadium show that was not seated, and that was the energy what came from the audience that was just insane.
And you could feel the earth moving while people were chanting, and it's like, what's going on?
So it's really nice, and it's actually exciting to go back now to Metropolitan Theatre, which we remember very well the shows we played there in the past.
Really pretty place.
It's a great venue, so we have very high expectations for the concert.
And also the National Auditorium, I mean, the place is just
amazing.
Magical,
Yeah,
right?
it's so big.
Yeah,
so it's hard to say, but there were also cool memories, you know, on the first tours we played, the smaller venues, you know, and it's and that time it was very exotic for us, you know. First trip to Mexico was kind of, wow, we were totally amazed, and we were so amazed about how Mexican fans, you know, how they really loved Apocalyptica and how they are able to show it, you know. It was just a big wave of love, you know, we got when we came here, and that happens every time.
It's always truly a special thing to come in here, because it's I think the paradox that we have such a long distance in between us, but when we go to the hall together with the audience, there is no difference. And we share the same enthusiasm, passion towards powerful music, and that's just lovely.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for the time in this interview. It's an honor to talk with you. Congratulations, Seventh Symphony. Great album.
Thank you.
Cool. Pues bueno, ya lo vieron, hermanos, desde Finlandia. Obviamente ustedes ya los conocen, una banda favorita de todo el público latinoamericano, Apocalyptica. Hermanos, esto ya se acabó. Hay que les sea leve, carnales. Chao.